Welcome in, IllinoisPrep.com. Glenbard to South Legend, Eric Seals. I'm Skylar King. As always, you can reach us at Eric iPrep, at Skylar iPrep, and hit us up on the message boards. Team number 2, counting down the top 10. Back-to-back defending 5A champs. The Montini Broncos and Chris Adriano leading the charge. 2 losses last year, but
we thought they were down.
But especially, I mean, the big one, that lose by 2 touchdowns opening weekend to JCA in the title game rematch. You're thinking, boom, Hilltoppers heading for a state title. But the Western Camps had a little something to say about that. Jordan coming back, 23 touchdown grabs last year. He's going to be a Husker playing Big Ten football.
Big Ten football, yep.
Says, forget about this Big 12 stuff. And they also have Mr. Jaleel Johnson, a 6'2", 277-pound monster D tackle heading to Iowa. Mm-hmm. Again, to me, we talked about Tommy Shutt in our last preview. Yep. You got that guy in the middle. That means you're probably stopping the run. Mm-hmm. Helps your pass rush. Makes your linebackers better. Makes your
makes your
DBs better because it gives the quarterback less time. Mm-hmm. Westerkamp is the best receiver in the state. What does he do for your offense?
He opens up everything. I mean, without a doubt, he's not going to have single coverage. They're going to be double teaming him every chance they get, and then that's just going to open up several other things. So if they have someone who's even remotely decent, you know what I mean, he's going to be able to have a big game. So, you know, if Jordan can be selfless and allow that to happen, I'm sure he would, because that's going to allow his team to win. Then they're going to have another good year. They found someone to get him the ball. It's not going to be, I believe, his cousin anymore, but John Rode from Marian Catholic, which was huge on the wire. People were like, "Whoa, got a little mover and shaker to get to the Lombard area now." Okay.
And to me, I mean, again, the thing I like about Westerkamp, just like a lot of these other big-time receivers we've talked about, he's not a speed guy. He's a guy that's going to be able to jump up over DBs,
Chris Carter,
get it, and
got those hands.
But I mean, you still saw like whether this guy's just an amazing route runner or, you know, there was blown cut. I mean, he can get behind the defense too. Oh, yeah. You know, so he can hit the home run for you, or he can get the job done for you on 3rd and 7 across the middle too.
I think a lot of kids in high school underestimate efficient route running. When you get to college, when you get to the NFL, it becomes more and more important. But if you can establish it right now, you can be a dominant force, and that's what Jordan Westerkamp seems to be. He runs his routes really well. And coming out of Montini, I'm not surprised. They're really big over there in technique, and so, you know, that's the results you're going to have.
So they've got to play a little together. We got an article on a 7-on-7. How much bigger do you think a 7-on-7 is for a school like Montini? Because they are going to be chucking it to Westerkamp.
I know you would think I would say it would be bigger for them, but I'm never going to be a fan of grading a team on 7-on-7.
I'm not saying great. I'm just saying
how much
the quarterback wideout.
How much important the chemistry? You know what? The chemistry from that standpoint between the quarterback and wide receiver, it will be something to look at, because timing's always going to be an issue. You know, you want to be able to know when your wide receiver likes to break his route, what he likes to do in certain situations. So yeah, that is going to be important. At the same time, you get those pads on, you get people rushing you. It changes the whole aspect of the game. So my 7-on-7 viewpoint is kind of biased.
But I guess my thing is,
I'm not getting to your point, Em.
well, I'm just saying. So you're saying that Joliet Catholic or Carmel or Mount Carmel get the same out of it as Montini?
No.
That's all I'm saying. So I'm saying in comparison to a lot of these other state powers who, you know, 7-on-7 means jack to them because they're running triple option.
Yep, I understand what you're saying. I mean, out of all those teams, Montini will put it in the air more than any of them. I mean, that's what they do. So you're right. You know, the 7-on-7 is going to be an important key. But I will state again, I don't care for 7-on-7.
And I'm with you. I mean, when you got the pads on, it's because that's like
no rush. You know,
especially with receivers and running backs, when you know the sacred 4-4, or you know your 40 time is so big. You know, really you should be timing the 40 with your pads on.
Yeah,
because
you really should.
No one's out there in shorts and an Under Armour top, running routes
in a straight line. I mean, but the thing you got to think about for 7-on-7, realistically, it's almost impossible for the cornerbacks because you can't cover someone forever.
Right. Well, and again,
that's what it comes down to.
Is there a standing count? Like,
I think they do like 4 seconds. They say 4 or 5 seconds, but you'll see, especially when we used to play. We used to play Montini a lot.
Close enough track to it.
Not only that, coaches' counts are different. Okay, so but that's neither here nor there. I think Montini is going to have a great year. We talked about the potential matchups that they can have.
Yes.
Later on in the season.
If you look at their schedule here, shockingly, if you ask me, soft schedule
compared to last year, especially.
Yeah, I mean,
because they had Loyola and JCA first 2 games,
and they do have Loyola week 2.
Okay.
But JCA is gone in place of them Palatine, and they get Palatine and Lombard. I don't see how that could be much of a challenge. They do have to go to Loyola. And that's a game they got throttled the last year.
Yeah, I mean,
like 22.
Almost those two completely different schools.
Sure.
From the side, Montini coming into Loyola, I think that'd be tough for them to come out with a win on that one.
Then Marmion, the 6A runner-up, but when we go back, that was a soft run.
Yeah.
On that side of the 6A bracket.
Yep.
The eventual champion, Rockford Boyne, was on the other side. Also, you had your Prairie Ridges and the Crystal Lake Souths on the other side. And then you got Woodstock, Marion, Aurora Christian.
Aurora Christian's supposed to have BB Sun, supposed to be doing pretty good over there. But still, yeah. I don't think a team that could probably compete with.
Right, they don't have the talent across the board
exactly
to compete on that level. And I mean, St. Francis, St. Edward, Walter Lutheran, Wheaton Academy.
So again, it starts with them in the playoffs.
Yeah, again, I mean that's why that Loyola game. Go out, play your A game, and hope Loyola plays their A game so you can get a serious test.
Exactly.
And be ready because 5A the depth of the talent isn't that good. You're probably not going to get a test until you run into a Joliet Catholic.
And then it's time to play.
Yeah. So
unless, like we talked about earlier, unless somehow East St. Louis gets up in there.
I mean that'd
be a great game to watch.
That'd be the ultimate twist. There's going to be some DB with some speed that'll run around chasing around Mr. Westerkamp.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean the contrast in styles there. That game would take 4 hours. You get Miss Lamontez Ivy and right, and Montini chucking it around. But when we come back, we'll look deeper into that. Is it Montini and Joliet Catholic? Is there anyone else that can make a run in what we assume will be the 5A class? Back in a few at IllinoisPrep.com. Back at it here, wrapping up the Montini preview, number 2 in our top 10 countdown. When you look at 5A, we talk about 6A being a little weak, and that's why I picked Providence to be my way too early state champion prediction in 6A.
Yeah.
But when you look at this class, especially over the last few years, Montini and JCA are a step above what Providence has been doing. Mm-hmm. And so the depth in 5A just isn't. That's why it was such a shock for Joliet Catholic not to make it there. Obviously, ran into a strong Ridgewood team and had to go to Peoria to play them.
Yep.
But then, Montini, it was. I think it was actually closer. The final score is closer than what the game was against Chatham Glenwood, 34-21 in that title game, because they just had no answer for Westerkamp in that game.
No.
And not that anyone else will, but it's and I said it before, Montini and JCA, in my opinion, is the number one rivalry we got going right now.
Yeah. Same
class, both private Catholic schools. Are probably competing for some 8th graders, that are going to different camps, trying to bring them in. Mm-hmm. And Montini head-to-head win in a state title game. last year in the opener, JCA by 14, not playing this year. I mean,
but
both these
we
schools,
just don't know when they're playing. They're going to end up playing against each other this year.
Yeah,
and I think the fact that they're either off the schedules, either because they ended their contract and they're like, okay, we're going to play 4 times, or B, they're like, you know what, we know we're going to play against each other in the playoffs. And the thing is, you beat a team once, that same season, it's hard to beat them twice.
Right.
That's the thing.
And I mean, that's we saw that in 6A when Crystal Lake South was rolling and had to play Prairie Ridge a second time, and Prairie Ridge
took them out.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I just don't know, because to me, the sneaky thing for Montini is they don't have the schedule that JCA does.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see Joliet Catholic losing a game, maybe even 2, if someone just is clicking on all cylinders on them,
mm-hmm.
and then, you know, JC and Montini are playing in the quarters.
Yeah. Well,
you know,
with the way our playoff system, we've seen it done before.
Sure.
So it can't happen. It'd be unfortunate.
Yeah, that to me will be an interesting subplot in 5A is where, I mean, and it seems like, you know, they push it all aside and just go, who has the best record, playoff points. Mm-hmm. But would they say, let's not, we don't want those guys on the same side of the bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll be, I mean, I don't think they will. I think they'll do it by the book.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do.
That's what they'll do.
But, oh, man, it'd be disappointing for the entire state not to be able to watch a Montini Joliet Catholic playoff game.
Yeah.
But there you have it. Only one team left to go.
Who could it be?
Man, I got a feeling they might have won a few state titles recently. Next time, team number 1 in Illinois Prep's preseason football countdown. For Eric Seals, I am Skylar King. You're watching IllinoisPrep.com.